Alright guys, welcome back to another episode. Today I'm with Bru from BrewCast, and yeah, I gotta say the backstory is that when I started podcasting, like, I don't know, it feels like 6 weeks ago or something, things went very fast, and this guy was the first guy that gave me a shot. He invited me onto his show. It was, you know, I was inexperienced as hell, I was green as hell, but he carried me through it. It was a really good experience, and I always remembered. So Bru, man, thanks for jumping on, dude. Love it.
Thank you so much, Jeremy, for the invitation. I'm glad that you enjoyed BrewCast, and here I am now, hopefully spreading the word of BrewCast and game design further into the world.
100%, and go check out the store. It's brew-cast.com/store. Yeah, I just bought something there to help. You're delivering around the world. That's why I was checking. I said, oh, he's delivering around the world now. Yeah, do you want to tell people like your story from Brazil to Germany? That's real cool. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's start out. So, hi everyone. I'm Bruno from Brazil, but I live in Germany. So, how I end up here? That's a good question. So, 2012, it was time for me to go to university. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, but there was a consistent thread, and this thread was video games. I love video games from the day I was born. I played everything: PC games, console games, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, you name it. So when came time to actually study something, I was like, there's not a lot of room for debate, you know? I need to do something related to games. And that's what I did 4 years at university in Brazil. I graduated in, I think the degree was called game design, something like that. Game design. And I knew for a fact that I wanted to work at Ubisoft and in Germany. That was the goal from the get-go. It was like very specific.
How? Tell me about that. Yeah. Ubisoft, what games do they make? I'm not familiar with the scene enough to know.
Maybe have you heard about Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one from them. I think it's the biggest one. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, because I came from the world of Blizzard, like StarCraft and all of that, right? Like strategy and all that. And you know, I love to work in Blizzard, so that was the goal, like to get into Ubisoft.
Yes.
In Germany.
Yes. In Germany, very specific.
Tell me the Germany bit. Like, would you know someone that was there that was doing the brilliant work?
Not really. I just wanted to learn German, and my grandparents, they had a lot of friends in Germany. I visited the country before. It's just something that I liked.
Nice.
I lived in France as well for many years before living in Brazil. I know it's a little bit all over the place, but
that's all right. That's what we're here for.
So I knew I did not want to go back to France. I wanted.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with France. I love France, but I wanted a new experience, a new language. So it just came up with Germany, and that's it.
Yeah. Nice. So what's the like? Sorry, I'm sorry if I sound offensive, all right? Because I'm just talking, right? You know, when people think Brazil, they see the videos of the ghettos and the hills. What they called? The favelas, right? Favela. But that's not like where university and stuff are, right? Like you just go to like a normal city and just it's normal. You know what I mean? Like
Yes. It's just a small community in Rio de Janeiro, but there's many of those communities across Brazil, but those are like small cities or communities. That's not how the whole country looks like.
Okay, cool, got it. So just normal. So it's just like your normal people. Because I had my haircut today because I knew I was going to come on the show. And the guy was from like Middle Eastern. He's from Lebanon, right? And you see you know what's going on with Lebanon now, the war and all that. And when he was there as a barber for 7 years, I said, "What's it like?" He says, "Normal. It just looks like this. Like there's lights, there's mirrors, it's like normal shop." So like that's what I'm asking you. Like I don't know what it's like over there. So just normal. Go to university, finish that, and then you'd be like, "All right, let's go somewhere else and get a new experience."
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay. But that's a very good question, because when I came to Germany, a bunch of friends asked me, "Did you go to university like with monkeys and stuff?"
Yeah.
Of course not. No, it's okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
So the goal was Germany and Ubisoft. So I just sold everything that I had. I had a car. I had.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. What else? I don't know. I sold everything that I had and just had my notebook, a few clothes, in a backpack. That's it. And one-way ticket to France. And why France? Because I can speak French, not German. So I lived in a small city called Strasbourg in a rented room for I had money for 6 months, and my goal was to stay there looking for works at Ubisoft in Germany.
Yep.
And I had just enough money for 6 months. If in 6 months this didn't work out, the job search didn't work, I would have to come up with a second plan, which I did not had.
Yeah.
4 months into this craziness, I got a reply from another game studio in Germany, but it was a game studio and in Germany, so it was like huge leap. And that's it. I got hired in this game studio, and then for another 3 years, my goal was to Ubisoft. I grinded. I improved the portfolio every single day. My vision and my life, my goals for many years were very narrow and very specific, and I did not had a lot of fun. Let's say I just grinded the hell out of it, and at the end of the day, it worked. So.
Yeah, so you ended up getting to Ubisoft.
After another 3 years in this other game company. Ubisoft happened to open a new studio in Berlin, which was brand new, and I was the first one who saw the job post because I was just like refreshing every single day. And I was the first one to send it. I was the first one to be interviewed. I was the first one to get hired because I was just...
You were there. You were meant for it. Like... Yeah, it's fate. Like you spoke into existence almost, you know. Real talk though, like I want to talk about the grind, right? Not as in like philosophical grind. Like I actually want to know what its grind equates to, like a game developer. Like for a digital marketer like myself, I grinded by updating WordPress websites. Do you know what I mean? Putting blogs in and that, like dopey stuff that like anyone could have done, but you needed to do it. This is before AI, before everything else. Like, what does grinding look like for like a game dev, a wannabe, or who's getting into the game?
I can only talk about myself. I was working as an artist in the game industry. I mean, I'm still am.
Yeah.
And 1 sec.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry. For me, grind still means improving your portfolio and going to game shows, game exhibitions, networking, and improving your portfolio. I mean, when it comes to art in the game industry, just is the only thing that matters most of the time is your portfolio. Right.
Okay. So a few things there. So grind is not necessarily like grind as we talk about in digital marketing, where it's repetitive work, like you're a game tester or something. You're like practicing a jump kick to make sure it's not buggy. Like that's what my interpretation of grind is, right? Street Fighter 2. Jump kick to make sure that it's not buggy. Like there's no way to do infinity. Do you know what I mean? Like to me, that's like just bottom of the rung grind. 8 hours a day. But your definition is different. It's like just running a marathon, networking event after networking event, shaking hands, that kind of thing, yeah?
Yeah, and creating art pieces for your portfolio.
I want to talk about art pieces. Like, are we talking about like you actually digital artwork of characters?
Yeah. Look. Yeah. Are you familiar with this thing?
Yeah. I have one. Yeah, I have one right next to me. Yeah.
So for those just listening, I just showed a Wacom tablet on the camera.
And exactly. Yeah.
And when I mean art pieces, it's just digital painting with this thing.
Straight up. So it's literally like, wait, hold on. Like, I'm trying to understand. So when you're talking about creating a portfolio, you're not just doodling, right? You're just not doodling jump kicks and characters and spells, right? Like, what are you drawing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm drawing. So the term that we use in the industry is concept art. And concept art are art pieces that are used mostly during the pre-production of those games. Yes. And they help the creative director or the art director and the game devs, basically everyone involved, to have an idea of the art style and how the final look of the game will look like. For example, imagine you just join a studio, no one knows what the game, like they just had this random idea, let's create a game about dinosaurs. Okay, cool. But how this is going to look like, how the interface is going to look like what type of dinosaurs, maybe fantasy dinosaurs or hyper-realistic dinosaurs, like those are all questions that are in the ether.
Yes.
And the concept artist, illustrator, maybe UI artist, if he's also part of the pre-production, you need to create those art pieces, those visual references to support this fantasy, because at the beginning of the game, no one knows how it's going to look like.
So the concept comes first, right?
Yeah.
You're in a room where you're listening to the concept and the guy's ideas. Of course, they're heavy NDAs, right? And you're listening. Because I remember you telling me that during your show. You said just NDAs, you can't really talk about anything. Cool. So you're listening, you say, okay, cool, you kind of get it. And then you're drawing dinosaurs, you're drawing also the interface, where the buttons go and all everything else. Or at the moment, it's just dinosaurs for now.
I mean, it depends on the company. In some companies, you also develop the UI, if it's especially a small company.
Right.
But those big ones, they have people assigned specifically just for the UI.
Well, so you're kind of working with them. That's more fun, kind of.
I think so, yeah.
I think it's more fun. But like, just say that I'm just trying to work out. Like, I've only watched one animation in my whole life. That's called Sword Art Online, the famous one. It was anyway. So basically, my question is, when you are drawing stuff, you could only have one kind of favorite style, right? Like, you can't draw hyper realistic and 90s cartoony versus 70 anime style. Like, you only have, like, if they don't like your style, you just like off the project kind of thing. Like, what happens?
Oh man, I love this question. That's
You're like,
a very
this
good
shit
question.
Again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the guy goes, oh, look at this is Bruce. He's you know, little cartoons again. You know, we don't want that anymore. Like, did that ever happen?
Jeremy, that's a very good question. So, when project managers and producers are hiring for a certain project, they look at your portfolio. So they already know your art style before hiring you.
I see. I get it now. That's why you have to collect it. So do you try to show an array of what you can do? And then they'd be like, oh, look, this guy does a bit of that. Let's just see how he goes. Yeah. Cool. And then once you're on the actual thing, I'm sorry I'm going so deep in it. I'm really interested in this stuff, right?
Oh, let's
because
go.
I can't draw. I can't draw to say, and I'll have other questions after. So, like, just say that you don't have anything active, right? Do you get put on the bench? Do you guys work? Because in big consulting companies, that's what happens, right?
Again, it depends on the company. But from my own experience, there's always stuff to do.
Oh, interesting.
And even if you're done with this project, there's already the next project coming up. And they already put you on that, so there's always stuff to do. And if you're done with the concept art, they might ask you to do like the key art, which is the marketing art. They have this very famous quote in the game industry that I love: is there's no finished games, there's only shipped games, or we run out of time, but there's no finished games.
I've heard about it before. You know what people say? People say that about music as well. Like song, they say it's never finished. You just that you're done with it. Like, you just move on. Yeah, is that also why games are always late and stuff? Because there's always something that can be done to improve it.
Always.
Cool. Yeah,
always,
nice.
Yeah.
And now with your developer skills, because you're a game developer, right? You don't stop at art. You actually start creating into real things using your coding skills.
I do that sometimes on my free time. But most of my contracts at game companies have been only to develop art.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Oh, really? So we did talk about AI a little bit when we were on your show, and how that helps and whatever, right? You say, well, it helps a little bit, I guess, you know. So is that like really beneficial now as it continues to get more advanced?
Personally, I think it is. I would say yes, but if you ask most players nowadays, June 2026, they would say, "I'm the devil for saying so."
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you heard. There's a huge backlash in the game industry against AI. People say it's stealing other people's jobs, but I don't know. I think it's the future. I think it saves time, and if there are legal consequences, there the government needs to put laws into place.
Yeah,
that's not my role. My role is to do a good job. As fast as I can, and I'm sorry if you disagree with me, guys.
Yeah.
But so I would say yes. The answer is yes. It saved time, and
cool. All right. You know, I use it because we in marketing. We need to have creatives for advertising and things like that. It's really good, man. It's really good. Like, when I watch those videos of Tom Cruise and fighting Brad Pitt in those AI videos and all that, man, that's pretty good. I think a lot of people will have problem with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, special effects and all that. Like, a lot of people will lose jobs and things out of it, I guess. But as an everyday consumer, it's super helpful
Yes.
to make what we do. Yeah.
Jeremy, I just need to make a small disclosure here. That I think that's the term you use.
Yeah.
Everything that I'm saying on this podcast are just my own opinions, and
Absolutely.
they're not in any way related to any company. And
Yeah.
I think it's good to state that, because there's so many NDAs and so many
Yes.
money involvement. Like everything that I'm disclosing and saying here, guys, is just my own personal thoughts. They're not related to any single project.
I feel
Yeah,
you.
there's no dinosaur project out there.
Yeah.
Or
I
there
hear
is.
you.
I don't know. I cannot talk about
Maybe
it.
there is. Yeah, we're not talking about all that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, cool. So in terms of like coming up, I have a 5-year-old son, right? And maybe one day he wants to be a game developer. And in this crazy world right now, with how quickly AI is growing, we should be talking about career path and what he should be studying going up to that, right? I have a friend who's in like a software developer. He said game developer, you need a lot of the coding stuff. You need heavy math, projectiles, bullets bouncing off bodies, and like that's all math. That's all. Like, what's your views, being somewhere in the industry and who rubs shoulders against like people like techies?
I'm not sure if you understood the question. So it's like recommendation for those who are willing to enter the game industry?
Who wants to get into the game industry, but they don't want to be studying the wrong thing because they're obsolete because of, how quickly the industry is moving, the way it's shifting.
I mean, there's no wrong thing if you're having fun, in my opinion. The only reason I'm in the game industry is because it's fun, and it will never be wrong for me.
Yeah.
But if you want to play safe and not, let's say you're afraid that AI will just take your job in a few years and want to play extremely safe.
Yeah.
Everything related to computers is
Yeah, it's gotta go.
Go be a mechanic. Go be a plumber.
Physical. Yeah. So there's no safe. There's no, like, if you're in a career path, in the way you're interpreting, it's like, man, everything can be taken over, right?
Everything digital, yeah.
Yeah, okay, everything digital can be taken over. In terms of where do you think, let's switch gears a little bit then, instead of talking about a career, because that's, that's a downer. Let's talk about where the money is in gaming, right? Like, I hear small teams are doing big things now, right? Like, 3-4 man teams can go crazy now with whatever technology available. I mean, there's people sponsoring teams. There's talking about it bigger than NFL one day. Yeah, like, where do you see it? Because you're probably still playing games.
I think you nailed. That's the answer. Whoever has the best ideas moving forward will get the most players playing their games and get the money. It's not about, I mean, the AI revolution will enable anyone with a good idea to develop a good game and therefore making them rich. You're going to see, I think, I'm not sure if you heard about Flappy Bird a few years ago. Do you remember that? Like, those type of games would just start popping up more and more and more and more. Yeah. And I don't see this happening only with the game industry. It's the same with Hollywood.
The SaaS, yeah, and SaaS as well, yeah.
The big studios, they always try to play safe, and they're going to start losing money, and more people will be able to create amazing productions with AI, and you're gonna start seeing random directors popping up. I mean, there was Backrooms. Have you heard about it? Obsession. Like, those are. I think Backrooms is in the cinema right now. The guy's a teenager, and he became a millionaire because he just had this great idea. It was based on a video game, by the way. Yeah. Backrooms, but that's what I'm talking about. Whoever has the best ideas and understand the motion of the. What I'm going for that. What the public wants to see. Yeah. They just will be able to develop those projects with AI by themselves or with a small group.
With a small group, yeah. Nice. Yeah, really cool. So when you are like, it sounds like, they in the IT world, whatever they call it, individual contributors, right? Like ICs, and then there's people like, is there, when you're working for a company and all that, is there like a pathway where you kind of no longer doing the work, you're kind of managing a small group? Is it like a skill that comes with that in the game? Is it unique, or is it pretty much the same as?
You mean the career path inside of the game industry?
Yeah.
This, again, it depends on studio, from studio to studio. Every studio is a little bit different. And again, I can only talk about art.
Yeah.
When it comes to art, normally you're hired first as an intern, and then a junior concept artist or a junior UI artist, then intermediary, and then senior, and then lead, and then director.
Wow. Yeah.
And so that's normally the evolution: internship, junior, intermediary, senior, lead, director, and I think above director is just studio lead, but then you're the leader of the whole studio.
Massive, yeah, huge. No, I'd never know any of that stuff. It's so interesting talking about like figuring out what that is, you know? Because I was under the impression, I'm not sure how I got the impression that like you were like deep in development, like dev, like full on like code and everything. I didn't know you were artists. I would have had better questions for you. I would have had better questions prepared for you, man. Yeah.
You had great questions, man.
Cool, amazing, man. Well, thank you so much, man, for coming on the show. And again, bru-cast.com/store. What else are you promoting right now, dude? Apart from the podcast, you want to talk about the podcast?
Just the podcast. Go check BrewCast, guys. You're gonna have a blast, I guarantee you. And we have an episode together, Jeremy. So guys, go check our episode.
My very first one. My very first ever time being on any podcast. It was with BrewCast. Yeah. And you know what's interesting is like, I don't know if you remember the stuff that we talked about, but you kind of like have people from all walks of life on your show, right? They're talking about people, you know, talking about wars, talking about, you know, life balance and clairvoyance, like anything. And they hang with you for like an hour. You know, they talk and you are interested, you listen, and you know, yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I was just listening to some shows, or you know, preparing for this to see who you've been talking to lately. You know, it's been amazing. Thanks again, man, for coming on the show. And I think, when does my jumper arrive, the one that I bought?
Oh, good question. So it's an international shipping, so it's probably a few weeks.
That's okay. Yeah. Did you do the artwork on it? It was like Japanese writing on it. Did you do that one? Really?
I created the thing. I mean, AI supported.
Yeah, sure. But still, it's your stuff. Yeah, no, amazing. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for everything. I'll put all the links in the below, so you know we'll chat. We'll stay in touch, man. So whatever happens from here. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, what's up? Jeremy Yang, the online ads guy here, owner of Digital Goliath Marketing. If you found whatever you're watching helpful, you found it interesting, like, subscribe, comment, suggest other topics you think we should cover here. We've aimed to release weekly episodes, helping SMEs with marketing, advertising, talking to professionals about growth, processes, all that good stuff. All right, see you on the next one.